Hi everybody, welcome back to Blazing Blimps. Today we're going to be extending this bed behind us. We're going to be coming through with a lawnmower, cutting everything down low. We're going to grind up this big pile of leaves behind us because those leaves breaking down in the soil is very beneficial. And then we're going to do a little bit of sheet mulching with some cardboard behind us, and we're on top of this grass so it doesn't come up through our bed. And then we're going to be throwing down some mulch to get it prepared and ready to go. And then when we're ready to plant, we'll come back through with some drip line later on. But for now, we're just going to get it kind of prepared so everything's kind of in place. Other than that, let's get to it.
Okay, so getting started with a bed prep, you want to make sure that you have a good clean area, and you want to make sure that it's as flat as possible. So run a lawnmower over it, making sure to kind of knock it down and give yourself a good workspace. So every year we collect our leaves and we put them in a big pile and we grind them up, and we make sure that all that material is used here in our soils. I don't want to get rid of it. I pay to bring their material in. I'm not going to just let it go out of here for free. So first step is to just come in and knock down the area before you start laying out your cardboard. And the reason why we choose to use cardboard and using the sheet mulching method is because we just like the way that cardboard breaks down into the soil over plastic, and it benefits the soil a lot better. The plastic, it does break down over time. It doesn't last forever. I've used it before and it breaks down. It's also a lot harder to get weeds out of in the long term. So we like the cardboard because it breaks down, and when it breaks down, it's not a big deal. You never see it again, and it does a good job of blocking out the weeds and smothering them out at least long enough for them to kill the grass. It's mostly for the grass, because the grass will come through anything. If you don't have grass, then you can just throw mulch. You don't have to put down a barrier. Mulch is good enough to block out 99% of your weeds. But if you have grass, you've got to put down some sort of a barrier, especially if you have Bermuda grass, which is what we have. We have wild Bermuda grass all through our landscape. You don't see it right here, right now, because it's still dormant. But as it warms up, it'll come up everywhere, and it'll penetrate these beds pretty good. That's why we started doing the sheet mulching, in order to keep the grass out. So it's pretty easy to get the cardboard. If you go to any big box store or grocery store and just ask them if they have any boxes in the back that you can have, and that they're going to put in their recycle bin. Normally they're nice enough to let you to hook you up with a lot of boxes, and then you just slowly collect them over time until you have enough to cover your whole bed, or get you as far as you can. You can also spend money if you don't want to run around driving everywhere, but that's more expensive, much more expensive. So, when you go to lay the cardboard out, you want to make sure that you're overlaying it so that you're covering all the gaps and the splits in the cardboard. It's very important that you don't really leave any areas of sunlight or anywhere where the grass can penetrate coming up. I normally just do a single layer. There are areas where you may have to do 2 layers of cardboard, but I find that as long as you cover everything decently, one layer does pretty well. Alright, the baby was getting kind of cranky, so we had to go in and get her and bring her out. She wanted to come outside and help us. So we're now getting back to it, laying out the cardboard. One thing to note is when you are getting cardboard, you want to make sure that you're putting down brown cardboard. There's going to be a lot of stuff out there that's very slick, and with a lot of ink on it. You're going to want to stay away from that. It doesn't break down as good. Like those waxy coatings are to help protect it from getting wet, and it lasts longer. So you really just want to put just brown cardboard. It's just the most environmentally friendly, I guess the best way to put it. So, right now we're working on bringing this bed, connecting this bed on the right hand side. You can see it. We're overlaying it with the cardboard now and making it shaping up. That's kind of the way it's going to be shaped on this side for now, and eventually we're going to move along the back side of this fence line all the way over to this tree, and that's what we're going to connect these beds up, so it'll be just one huge bed back there. It's going to take a few years for us to actually connect these two beds, you know, just because of money, resources, time. I mean, just like lots of things come up that don't allow me to get as far along as I would like to get on on our landscape, but it is what it is. So we're just going to rinse and repeat on this side around this tree, mow it down, flatten it down as good as you can, and then you just start laying your cardboard around it, overlaying it, making sure to cover up all the cracks the best you can. And it's also easy to do this when it's not windy out like it is right now. It just lays right down. You don't have to struggle. Otherwise you'll need to lay out some heavy objects, and you'll see that later in the video. It does start to get, the wind starts to pick up before the mulch is dropped off. Now that the mulch has arrived, the first thing that we're going to do is top the beds that are in desperate need of it, the ones that we did about a year ago. We have, as the beds have been created over time, we kind of stagger the mulch. So some beds get mulched now, other beds will get mulched in 6 months. And then, so first thing we do is we start off by mulching what's already on the ground, all the beds that have been created, and then we will move on to extending our other bed and creating the other one. We just want to make sure that what we already have in place is taken care of, and like this, that this is well maintained before we move on to try to overextend ourselves. We're trying not to take on too much, but everything about gardening is, once it's all in place, is so easy. Once you've kind of got it all there, it's not much at all except going around and picking the stray weed out of the bed. So just very quickly, we just kind of lay out an inch or two on top of the existing beds, and spread it around. Then we can move on.
Hi everybody, here we are back here on the next day. Actually, we had camera issues, but I kept working and just didn't film much of it. But we got the camera back up and going, and we wanted to focus on go ahead and pick up back over here on this side. This is a big oak tree that here, and what we want to do is we want to create a bed around it. So we're going to make sure that we get some good mulch instead of having the grass constantly growing up against it. The mulch will much the tree will much prefer having the mulch around it, constantly feeding it nutrients year round, and keeping the roots warm. So you can see that we've laid our cardboard out already, overlapped it everywhere. We've got some wood, some chunks of wood just holding on the cardboard because it's pretty windy today. So we are, it's blowing around. So we're gonna have to just kind of work around it as we pile it on when we move the wood. Anyway, so let's get to work.
So when you're initially putting mulch down for the first time, you want to make sure to put anywhere between 3 and 4 inches of mulch down. Any less than that, and it's just not going to be. It won't be enough mulch. It'll just kind of be gone in no time flat. Any more than 4 inches, and the water will not be able to permeate through the mulch in order to break it down, and it'll create extremely dry conditions, and the mulch will just never be. It'll never break down. So you want to make sure to aim between that 3 and 4 inch mulch layer. Let's see. The kind of mulch that we prefer to use is finely shredded, also known as triple shredded mulch, and that's because our property is on a slope, so the triple shredded mulch, the finely shredded mulch, it kind of connects together and forms a very, very dense mat, and it holds together very well because it's so fine, and that it holds much better on a hill or slope. So that's why I would recommend, if you do live on a slope, spend a little extra money and get the finely shredded mulch instead of the just your basic wood mulch. Also, you want to make sure that the kind of mulch you're using, you're not getting it from like the big box stores. That mulch is mostly broken down pallet boards, and there's no real benefit to putting that down. It doesn't break down. There's nothing left in it as far as for the soil to benefit from, the microbes in the soil. You want to make sure that you're using a good tree bark mulch that you order from like a landscaping supply company or like a dirt company or something. They should have ground covers like this, different mulch varieties. So that's something that I definitely recommend when you're looking for types of mulch. There are all kinds of mulch out there. So, but for if you're on a slope, I definitely recommend the triple shredded mulch. Otherwise, the water, when it rains, will just wash it away. And very quickly we can form up this bed. And later on we'll come back with drip line, but this is as big as this bed's going to be for now, and then eventually down the line, maybe in a year or two, we'll finally connect this bed with the first bed that we created in that corner over there, and it'll go down this back fence line that you see.
Okay, and just like that, the bed's on, the bed's in. We got the mulch laid on top of the cardboard, and it's gonna be a total rest. Now let's move on. We got a little bit more mulch to throw, and we'll be done.
All right, so we've wrapped up throwing the mulch, and I just wanted to do a quick tour of the beds, show you how it looks now with all the new mulch thrown. So eventually this whole fence line will be mulched, and so this is what the new bed, or the old beds with their new mulch covering. I think the new mulch, when it goes down with being darker brown, it's not faded out by the sun, it definitely makes all of the plants pop in color a bit more. So I really enjoy the way the beds look after mulch. There's our cat buddy. This bed we did not mulch. It's a newer bed, so we just left it alone. We started the mulch actually right here on this side, up against the foundation, and this needed it here. We had mulched here in probably 8 to 12 months probably. So all that got mulched. This little corner bed here on the front got mulched. And this is probably our best looking bed. And this is one of our largest beds. This is our largest bed in the front, and it expands from one side of the property to the other side of the property after it jumps the driveway. This is a Vitex here, but we've started in the middle of the yard. Eventually we'll mulch down to that, but it'll take time. It's all just time, which you can see. We appreciate everybody watching, and we'll see you next time.